Thank you, Terry. Good evening. It's a real honor for me to be with you tonight. I'm excited to have this opportunity to share a vision that we believe will help turn Delaware from being a blue state to a red state once again. Now, I know, just making that statement, I feel a little bit like the boy in Ronald Reagan's favorite joke. The parents of a 6-year-old boy were concerned that their son was becoming too optimistic, so they took him to a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist, trying to dampen his spirits, took him into a room that had been piled high with manure. Well, once the little boy came in the room, as opposed to responding with disgust and holding his nose, he scrambled up the pile of manure and dropped to all fours and began digging. The psychiatrist was shocked, and he said, "What in the world are you doing?" He said, "With all this manure in here, there must be a pony in here somewhere." Well, as Delaware Republicans, we need the optimism of that little boy. And we need the optimism of Ronald Reagan again. It was this spirit of optimism that led hundreds of Republicans to gather in Legislative Hall in January of 2007. And we discussed the state of our party and what needed to be improved. We talked about candidate selection. We talked about grassroots organization building. We talked about minority outreach. But one of the questions that we kept hearing again and again and again is, what do we believe in as a party? Where are we going as a party? What is our vision for the state of Delaware? And the response was really a deafening silence. It kind of became clear that our party did not have a clear vision that all of our stakeholders could clearly articulate. In short, we had no vision. The scriptures say, "My people perish for lack of vision." Helen Keller said it this way, when asked what could be worse than going through life and not being able to see. She poignantly replied, "To go through life with sight, but to have no vision." And I submit to you, that's where we found ourselves here in the state of Delaware and on a national basis. And you only need to look back a few years ago when we had the presidency, we had the House, and we had the Senate, and yet we presided over the largest expansion of government since LBJ. This from the party that believes in fiscal discipline. This from the party that believes that the government that governs best governs least. Contrast. Thank you. Contrast this with Ronald Reagan's clarity of vision during the Cold War, when facing the former Soviet Union. He had a simple vision: we win, they lose. This is the clarity of vision that our party has been sorely lacking. In June of last year, we decided to form a Framing a Winning Agenda committee. We invited grassroots volunteers, elected officials, party leaders, and just plain old good thinkers. Our diverse group consisted of women, of men, of minorities, of small business owners, of teachers, people from all over the state of Delaware, from every region and every county. Our first meeting just so happened to be held on June 12th, 2007, which marked the 20th anniversary of Ronald Reagan standing at the Brandenburg Gate in West Berlin, where he said, "Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." It's this clarity of vision, this spirit of painting in what Reagan called bold primary colors and not pale pastels that we have been sorely lacking. And this is what we committed to, that we needed to be able to define a winning agenda for Delaware. During the past year, we have been privileged to actively engage great thinkers like Governor Pete DuPont, Rick Tyler, who is Newt Gingrich's Chief of Staff. We've had several of our elected officials involved in the process. We've had Senator Charlie Copeland, Representative Greg Lavelle, House Majority Leader Dick Cathcart, Senator Colin Bonini, and others. Our winning agenda team generated, discussed, and debated over 70 innovative ideas that were brought forward. We spent months distilling these ideas down to those that we deemed to be the very best of the best. And what we came up with is a clear, bold vision called the Delaware Plan. We believe that now is the time to make Delaware first again. We were the first state to ratify the Constitution, the leader of incorporations, a vanguard in science, first in finance, but we have watched our former position of preeminence meander into a maze of mediocrity. It's time that we get out of this maze and identify a clear and positive path forward. Some candidates today speak of change in ambiguous ways. The Delaware Plan is our party's clear commitment to positive change. The plan that's being passed out now has 8 main points. They are: D, demand accountability; E, educational excellence; L, limit spending; A, affordable health care; W, workplace for the future; A, alternative energy; R, rational taxation; and E, environmental responsibility. These 8 issues percolated to the top as we force-ranked all of our ideas. And as you can see, they also quite conveniently form an acrostic for Delaware. It's a good thing we didn't live in Mississippi, or we'd have been all hosed up on the acrostic. But it did work out well. Now, what I want to do is I want to run through each of these issues and highlight just a couple of the innovative and bold ideas for the plan. Number 1, demand accountability. The Windows into Government Act. Make government transparent, open, and accountable. It's time that we throw open the windows to government and make it transparent and accountable again. Our ideas to achieve accountability include placing all government expenditures on the World Wide Web, where the citizens can get involved and watch and stop wasteful spending. We will now have the citizen watchdog standing guard. We need to stop allowing the last-minute changes to the bond bill and to the budget. There should be a basic threshold that the public deserves to know what's in the budget before it's passed. And let's eliminate the desk drawer veto. It's time for our legislators to start voting legislation up or down on the merits, and not simply stuffing legislation that they don't like into a desk drawer. Next, educational excellence. Encourage educational achievement by empowering parents through the expansion of Charter, Choice, and Vision 2015. In Delaware today, we're spending about $15,000 per student, yet we're getting mediocre results. What have we learned? We've learned that empowering parents through choice works. We've learned that charter schools work and should be allowed to flourish. We've learned that spending too much money on administration and bureaucracy does not work, and we need to commit to getting at least 70% of each dollar spent into the classroom where it can benefit our kids. We also believe that being a teacher is a high calling, and that our best teachers should receive the highest compensation. And in education, the future of education is right now. It is morally wrong to rob our children of the opportunity to have an excellent education. The next issue is limiting spending. We need to reduce government spending and responsibly streamline its size by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. Our spending in Delaware is quite simply out of control. During the Minner, Carney, Markell administration, spending has skyrocketed 61%. On average, the state of Delaware is now spending $20,000 per household. Get this, that ranks us first in spending of the lower 48 states. This is unacceptable and unsustainable, and it needs to end now.